Hi, I'm Andre Crossley. I'm with eXp Realty out of Houston, Texas, and I have poolside chatting with my son and my husband. Kirkland Crossley is my husband. Andre Crossley is my son. Andre has a lot of opinions about electric cars and innovations that are going on in Texas, and we just want to get his opinion because he tells us this all the time, and I just record it and get him on film and introduce him to the world. So, Andre, what do you think about what's been going on with the gas shortages?
It's crazy seeing all those people hoard gas and plastic bags and drive up the prices because they think it's scarce. It kind of reminds me of what happened like at the beginning of coronavirus when people like stockpiled tissue. You know what I mean? Just making scarcity and creating price gouging that hurts people. But more importantly, though, because I drive an electric car, I felt none of that. You know what I mean? Like paying at the pump, prices that go up and down is kind of a relief. You know?
Yeah. So, Kirk, what do you think about what's been going on lately?
With the gasoline situation right now, there are still a lot of people, and mainly those in the oil and gas sector, that don't want to realize that technology is coming.
Technology is here.
It's here.
Technology is here.
Yeah, it is here. But
and actually, the price of gasoline and switching over to renewables is actually cheaper than to keep running with oil.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we're actually looking at a huge collapse in the oil and gas industry within the future. I mean, you got solar and wind taking off exponentially. So it's like, what will America do with the existing infrastructure? Because over there in the Southeast coast where the shutdown happened was brought on by Russian hackers, allegedly. And it affected 7 states. And that's like the biggest pipeline in, America that funnels gas. Right. And it's run by old technology at the same time. So that's why it was easy for those hackers to penetrate that network.
Mm-hmm. So what is your opinion about what's going on, Andre? What do you think is going to happen in the future?
What I think is going to happen is there's got to be a shift. But right now, electric cars are still really expensive. Unless you get a cheap one with low range, it really doesn't fit a lot of Americans' lifestyles. People want big SUVs, big cars. They want to go places and do things. And then, you can buy a Tesla, but, most American households don't have $80,000 to shell to switch over. So unless the cost of the technology comes down dramatically, which it will over time, but there also needs to be incentives, government incentives for people to really switch over. Yeah, it would help ease a lot of pain in the households too, because with the prices of commodity and things, and people need gas. I mean, you got to go to work, so people are just used to paying whatever for gas because they know they're going to need it. It's the same thing like down here in the South. If we get hit with a bad weather warning or the potential to need to evacuate, the very first thing people are going to go to is the gas station and create panic before it can create safety.
Yep. So that factory that they're building in Austin, are they just going to be making big trucks there, or is it going to be cars, electric cars that they're making?
Batteries themselves, they're utility scale batteries for those products, as well as for cars and for trucks and SUVs. Who knows? Actually, they're so vertically integrated. They make a lot of their own pieces. They make chips, and they're an AI software company too, so they could be launching software and all kinds of stuff.
Wow. Goody. That's interesting.
What do you guys think about like electric cars and switching over?
Oh, I want one truck, not SUV.
One thing that you do have to think about, I mean, when you come home and you plug your car in, it's gas and oil that's keeping that's charging it. The power grid that is created by turbines that are most likely run by some type of fossil fuel. So until that point to where the charging and the running of electric vehicles like that can be totally separate from the oil and gas industry, then that's when it's really going to take off. If the power source now comes from, well, wind and or solar that is stored from batteries, and batteries big enough to come to your home and subsequently charge your car, then that's when it can make the true separation. Right now, like I say, there are a lot of naysayers, and most of them are probably oil and gas folks that are totally against it, because how many decades now?
Yeah,
a century.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You got to wean off of oil and gas into the solar and wind and electric.
And the thing that's going to make people wean is the price, is the cost, because the economies of scale for such technology has come down so much so that it's cheaper to switch over. Traditionally, homes are powered by coal. But right now you have a convergence happening where wind is increasing. Actually, here down in the state of Texas, more than 30% of our energy produced last year was from wind. And then with the cost, again, of technology of solar and battery being integrated, now homes and communities are able to become virtual power plants. So your home and your community of homes, together with solar panels and energy storage, can create their own energy locally. And then because the houses are connected to the grid, they can feed the grid when energy demand is at its peak. So that kind of convergence is going to happen. And over time, we will, see that transition. So all of the energy being produced will eventually be sustainable.
As time goes along, I think that with the cost effectiveness of solar and wind power, by making it cheaper to install, cheaper to maintain, it will eventually catch on and everybody will start to doing it. So the thing is, the more people use the forms of alternative energy, the cheaper it's got to become.
Yeah,
it has to become.
And the more it's produced, it's called economies of scale.
So
I think the problem that we're facing now, though, overall, like in America, is an infrastructure problem. I mean, as we've seen with the hack with the gas line, like that's an infrastructure problem. And the thing with electric adoption taking off, we don't have electric charging station everywhere like we have gas stations everywhere. And because we're switching over to a new source of energy, what we're going to see now is inflation and deflation. Like, what do you do with all of these gas stations when everybody starts driving electric vehicles? That's going to be like the collapse of the oil industry and the rise of EVs. It's going to, take a toll on the market too.
Times are changing.
I hear you. Son, I'd like to ask you a question as far as the price. What is the comparison of a gallon of gas to a whatever unit of measurement that is used to power your car?
So kilowatts and wattage. Right now, the cost of electricity per kilowatt in the state of Texas is like 11 cents, like 11 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay. I think it's gone up to maybe like 13 cents per kilowatt hour. So it would maybe take like $3. $3
to fill up the whole thing, as opposed to 35 to 50 to 75 to $100 to fill it up. Yeah. Okay.
And then those prices fluctuate as well. Again, when the demand is higher, the cost goes up, which is why most EV owners charge overnight and the energy usage is cheaper. When you compare the price of energy to gasoline, energy wins every time. And the price of gas is only going to increase.
Well, thank you guys. This has been very informative. Next time, I want to talk about maybe 3D homes and how that can impact the housing shortage that we're having now. So we'll do some research and come to you with that next.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.